You ever wonder who benefits from inflation? I've been trying to do this video for a little bit. It's complex, and we're going to keep it simple here because there's so much going on. All these people are like, oh, inflation, it's just so easy. The government printing press go burr. We're just going to go back to basics. I'm going to show you what happens. We're just say how the government gets money. The government issues debt is how they get money. All right, so the government says, look, man, we need money. We're going to sell bonds. We're going to sell bonds to investors. Big investors, not you and me. We're going to sell, a little bit small, but they're not raising enough from individual investors to fund operations. Countries, insurance companies, pension funds, and things like this nature. So the government sells bonds, and what that means is they're giving bonds to them, and in exchange, they're getting cash. Cash comes to them, the government, bonds goes there. All right. So now the government gets this cash, and then they start dispersing it. Who do they start dispersing it to? Well, the people in the lobby. They're going to start dispersing it to the lobbyists, the people representing the lobbyists. Well, the lobbyists are the entities that are represented in front of the government. So the government now gets all this new money. We'll just say buck. Actually, it's going to go, so they get the new money. The lobbyists say, hey, we want to go to, freaking wind turbine company in Maine, which is stupid, but so they're going to say, okay, we're going to issue to big lobbyists, big players, not you and I, big players. It might be Black Lives Matter. Remember the Acorn controversy under Obama? It might be that. So the government gets the money from the banks, all this stuff. It goes to these guys first. They get first dibs at it. Then it goes to, I don't know, a smaller lobbyist, I guess. And it keeps going and keeps going. Finally gets to us. So at times it makes it to us, it's already been in circulation for how many months, how many days, I don't know. We have this thing called the velocity of money, how much the money turns over. But that dollar bill has already been in circulation for a certain amount of time. But it was worth $1 here. By the time it gets to us, it's worth less than $1 because of inflation. This is how, literally, again, I challenge the idea of too much money chasing too few goods is an inflationary thing inherently because I think that focuses too much attention on too much money. I think it doesn't focus enough attention on the too few goods aspect of this. And inflation is everywhere and always a monetary phenomenon, i.e. too much money. See, I think it's way too focused on too much money. But be that as it may, if you're issuing money, inherently it's going to make the previous money that's out there less valuable. If I have 10 stalks of corn and you have 20 stalks of corn, inherently your 20 stalks of corn make my 10 stalks of corn less valuable. That's just basic supply right there. It says, okay, if another guy comes up with 50 stalks of corn and makes my 10 stalks of corn less valuable, your 20 stalks of corn less valuable, as well as his 50 stalks of corn less valuable. So the more money that's being printed in this, and again, I'm using printing kind of facetiously. There's not just like this printing machine goes burr. That's what we're kind of saying here. So they're saying, look, we have, so by the time it gets to us, the money has already lost value. And I think what is it, my man, uneducated economist calls this a Cantillon effect. That the heavy hitters get access to a first, smaller hitters get access to a second, and peons like us get access to a third. And by that, we'll just say it lost 20% of its value, just whatever. You see what I'm saying? So now it only buys 80 cents on the dollar. So a lot of people say, yeah, that's us. What they miss, here's what they miss though. This is what America has been exporting more than anything, more than topsoil, probably even more than energy. We've been exporting our dollars. So while we're not first dibs, guess who gets it after us? Foreigners. So we come before foreigners. By the time they get it, it's worth even less. That's why the dollar is so valuable to travel overseas. You can use a dollar, and that's why all these people, that's what drives me. This is what made me think about this whole video. All these people say, I'm going to Thailand to live for cheap. I'm going to, I don't know what the hell it is, Indonesia. Well, that's not Indonesia. What's the other place? Singapore, Philippines, to live for cheap. And all these people are saying, yeah, because it's so cheap there. But guess who's not cheap? Guess who it is not cheap for? Those same people. They're now getting your deflated dollars. You say inflated, but your dollars that are worth less because you had access to the dollars before they did. So now you're going to the Philippines. You're going to freaking Thailand with your more valuable dollars. Then you go there and it makes it less valuable because now they're the low end of the coin here. So you are benefiting from inflation because you have this dollar that's worth more. You can go to the Philippines. You can go to all these places and live like a king. Guess what? The same thing happens in the United States. All these people say, I'm going to sell my house in California and move to Idaho. What are they doing? They're bringing up the prices for the people in Idaho. It's the same concept here. The United States people are bringing up the prices for these foreigners who have access to our dollars after we do. I hope this makes sense, man. We export our dollars, we export our inflation, and we export our dollars by buying foreign goods and going to foreign lands. I'm not saying it's good or bad, I'm just saying it's what it is. So when you think about we're getting screwed on inflation, guess who's getting screwed even more? It's foreign countries. But it's not any question. It's no different than the guy in California selling his house in Silicon Valley for $2 million and going to Idaho and buying a house for $800,000 that previously was worth $400,000 until all the California money came in. Those indigenous populations are the ones holding the wet bag. You see what I'm saying? It's a boom for us. Now, again, we're on the bottom end of the United States here, so we're, us citizens, we're on the bottom end. So we got like this, we're on the bottom end of the triangle here, but there's even people lower than us, foreigners. Am I spelling that right, foreigners? They're getting the worst end of it. You can go to Canada right now because the Canadian dollar is worth so much less than the American dollar, and you could buy a freaking house there for cheap in U.S. dollars. I talk to people, and I got no call for people doing this or going to the Philippines or anything like that. We are the beneficiaries, though, when it comes to individuals of American exporting inflation. That's just all there is to it with our dollars because we have access to it first. We're getting screwed when it comes to government. We're getting screwed when it comes to big corporations, the banks, all that, but we are still benefiting from it. And I just think it's something to be important to understand. When you take your heavily valued dollar that you got and you go to Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, Canada, you're buying a hell of a lot more basket of goods than those people there, and you're driving the prices up for the foreigners as well. Because they're like, man, I can't, because what's going to happen is because it's so cheap for you to do this, you're going to encourage other people to do it, no different than the Californians moving from California to Idaho. Look, I'm from Maine, dude. The rich Bostonites and New Yorkers go up to Maine all the time. They just live like kings because they can sell their houses in New York. I don't know who the person's buying those houses, frankly, but it happens all the time. So the people in New York are the beneficiary of their more valuable dollars than the people in Peaks Island, Maine, where I'm from. Because now we're like getting the price of real estate is going up so much we get put out, man. The same thing's happening here. And I hope this makes sense. It's just something I think about. There's another part of this I was trying to do in one video, but it's too confusing in terms of how government actually funds their debts and whatnot. Maybe I'll do another video on that. But anyway, love your thoughts. God bless. We'll see you.